There we go. And then now I'll switch it back.
Perfect.
Make. All right, there you go. All right, so sorry about all the little technical difficulties, but I'm thankful that you guys are here. Welcome to today's wellness webinar. I'm super excited to have you here. But before we get into the topic, y'all know I like to do wins. So does anybody have any wins they want to share? Crickets. I don't know how to feel about that. Is there anything you did for yourself? It don't matter how big, how small.
Well,
You
like I
said,
said,
go ahead, LaShawn.
I'll say my wins was although I was like I told you, although I was out of town, I did log my nutritional goals.
Job.
Woohoo! That's a win. Y'all give it up for Miss LaShawn. Give her a virtual round of applause. Virtual
Mhm.
round of applause. Yes, yes. Oh, look at all them applause you got, girl. Ah. Anybody else have any wins to share? One of these days, we're gonna have a call so big that I'm gonna have to limit how many wins or whatever. I'm gonna be like, everybody gonna be sharing wins. We're not there yet, but we're gonna get there. Y'all can invite people to these calls too if you feel that the topic will benefit them. But anybody else? What? I'm hurt.
Don't be that way.
Huh?
I said, don't be hurt.
Why? I mean, it gotta be something positive you can pull out of your hat. Nothing?
I lost a few ounces.
Ooh, and you turning up your nose like I've lost a few ounces. That's a win, girl. Everybody give Miss Kathy a virtual hand clap. That's awesome. How you feel about that?
Good.
That's good. That's good. And you working hard, so I'm proud of you. Well, since we had two people volunteer to share their wins, I want you guys to ponder on this next question. What is one area in your life where you feel like your boundaries are not strong enough? And then you can answer. This is still icebreaker time, so you can unmute yourselves and answer the question. What is one area in your life where you feel like your boundaries are not strong enough? You don't have to share specifics if you're not comfortable, just a thought. This can help us all connect and understand how boundaries affect our energy and our stress.
Oh God. Um, you can hear me?
Yep, go
Okay,
ahead.
great. All right. So I would say for me, I would say like my work life, and I think I told you this before. My work life is my days are very, it's not like the same. It can change at any time. One minute I'm in the office, next I'm driving a U-Haul. So it can get pretty hectic to the point where it's only me and another guy at the office. So like if he's not available, which he wasn't at a point in time, everything just falls on me and they
Mm-hmm.
expect me to do it. And then it's like, it's like for me, it's like, okay, this is where let me just say yeah. But then whole time on the inside, I was losing my mind because it was like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's
I
what it
didn't want to
does.
I didn't want to do all of that. But I'm learning now that boundaries are such an important thing. And I've been saying no more often in a respectful way, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say in that area it can be stronger.
Yes, that's awesome. I'm proud of you for setting those boundaries because I always say people will only do what you allow them to do. So if you
Mhm.
don't set boundaries and you don't hold people accountable, they will walk all over you. They will use and abuse you. So I'm proud of you for that. Has anyone else done a self-reflection on this and want to share? Nobody? All right. Well, before we get started, I'm gonna have Erin jump into the housekeeping if you don't mind.
Sure.
All right, cool.
Okay, thank you for being here. Just a couple of reminders before we get started. Remember your weekly check-ins. We use those to help keep you on track, and we just ask that you complete it by Mondays at 9 p.m. The form does open on Fridays. And just remember that is a way to help you stay consistent, making sure you're getting intentional movement. You are prioritizing strength training of 3 to 5 times a week, really prioritizing sleep 7 to 9 hours a night. Staying hydrated is really important, and we use that in order to kind of get a snapshot of how things are going for you each week, and that way we can provide you better guidance moving forward. And another reminder, during our calls, we do want you to have your cameras on and make sure that your Zoom screen name is updated so that we are aware of who is here. But we do like seeing all of you and knowing that you're here to participate. So please absolutely have your cameras on. We do understand that if you're in a place where you just simply can't do that, that is okay too. And then another reminder, if you have questions or comments that you have throughout this presentation tonight, pop them in the chat, and I will be monitoring the chat while Chiquita is presenting. So I will get to your questions. Don't be afraid to ask whatever comes to mind and share throughout. So
Woohoo! Thank you so much for that, Coach Erin. So just so you guys know, our topic today is something that we all need more of, but we often forget. And that is listening to your body and setting healthy boundaries. So today we're going to talk about why it's so important to take care of yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally. We're going to cover self-care, rest, sleep, meditation, mindfulness, and practical ways to set boundaries in your life. By the end of this session, you'll have simple tools to protect your energy, reduce stress, and improve your overall quality of life. Okay, so y'all ready to dive in?
Yep.
All right, great. So we're going to dive into today's topic. So I want to break down why listening to your body and is so important and why boundaries matter. So let's break that down. First and foremost, our bodies are consistently giving us signals. And if we ignore them, it can lead to stress, burnout, or even illness. So when it comes to listening to your bodies, it's important to understand that our bodies are constantly communicating with us through signals like fatigue, irritability, difficulty concentrating, digestive issues, tension, or headaches. So think of your body as a car dashboard, right? On your car dashboard, you're going to get warning lights that show up when something needs attention, whether it's your check engine light, your tire is airing, or your tire is low, or whatever it might be. If you ignore those warning lights, it can lead to bigger problems down the road. Do you see how that can connect to how your body works? Absolutely. The next thing is self-care. A lot of us feel like self-care is selfish, and I don't quite understand why. The only thing that I can think of is being a people pleaser, because that's the only time you're going to feel like taking care of yourself is selfish, is because you feel like if you're not doing something for somebody else, that you're not allowed to do for yourself.
Mm.
And self-care is essential for functioning at your best. Because if you can't function at your best, how you gonna give somebody else your best if you're not even giving yourself your best? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So the way that you show yourself self-care is one with the foods that you eat. Fueling your body with healthy foods gives you energy and it supports brain function. So that's why oftentimes I talk about meal timing, not skipping meals. I'm not a fan of fasting. That's not something that I truly implement or support. But if you do a fast, I try to have you keep it short because you want to make sure that you're able to get the nutrients in your body that you need, especially women. Fasting doesn't necessarily work for women because of our hormones. And Erin, I'm sure you can tell them more about that because she's very well versed in menopause. So I'm going to give her the floor right now to kind of dive into that part.
Absolutely. Yeah. Fasting is not always the best approach for women, specifically going through perimenopause and menopause. Our hormones control so much of what goes on inside of our bodies. They're chemical messengers that give our bodies signals to do one thing or another. And when those levels start to fluctuate, then those signals aren't getting sent. And then you couple that with depriving the body of necessary food, it doesn't function at an optimal level when we're taking away that energy and creating such an energy deficit that the body can't really function normally in the processes that it needs to perform in order to keep you well and keep you healthy. There's enough of a landscape shift during perimenopause and menopause that we don't need to be adding to it by taking away the necessary fuel that the body needs in order to help us think and help us sleep and help us get through the day and help us perform whatever tasks we have to do for work or if we're taking care of families and things like that. So really the best approach to stay on track is just having consistent balanced meals that are protein healthy fat and fiber focused to keep that blood sugar stable. That's also something that women tend to struggle with in the perimenopause menopause years. Is there's some blood sugar stabilization that comes into question. We see a rise of type 2 diabetes and things like that starting to crop up if our nutrition is not balanced and we don't have that intentional movement. So fasting isn't always our friend in that case.
Right. Thank you so much for that, Erin. So, as you know, I'll get a lot of women like, oh, I do intermittent fasting and that's helped me lose weight. And I'm like, okay, but that's not really helping you with your hormones and it's hurting your, because you lose muscle over time and then other things are going to happen. So it's very important to make sure that you're fueling your body properly. Also, hydration. That's another form of self-care. Water keeps your mind and body sharp. You don't want to be dehydrated. You will be loopy, you'll get headaches, all the things. So you want to make sure that you are properly hydrating. I always recommend carrying around one of these. I literally take it everywhere. I take it to the airport. Even if I go to a concert or something where you're not allowed to bring drinks, I'll just bring an empty one and I'll get one of these things and pour water in it. Like I'm gonna have my water, you know? So if you have one of these with you all the time, you don't have to worry about scrounging around for water, having to stop the gas stations and things like that. You will always have your water with you so that you can hydrate when necessary. And I'm going to do that right now because my throat a little dry. Movement is another form of self-care. Funny story. When I was competing years ago, I had just started the sport. And I was working out and I worked at the gym at the time and my mom was watching my son for me. And since I had to go pick him up from her, I was already at the gym. I was like, "Hey mom, since I'm here at the gym, would I want to go ahead and get my workout in and then I can come pick up my son afterwards." And she was like, "Well, that's selfish." And I was like, um, working out is selfish? She's like, yeah, you should be coming to get your son. And I'm like, I never get to do anything for myself. This is the one thing I get to do for myself, and I'm being called selfish. And she was like, well, whatever, do go ahead and work out, but I just want you to know that that's selfish. So it's people that think that way. There's people that think that if you do something for yourself, that you're being selfish. And I just wanted to do like 30-minute work. And I called her ahead and was like, hey, I'm already at the gym. I want to go ahead and work out before I come, get my son. So I don't want you guys to adopt that mindset, thinking that if you do something for yourself, if you pamper yourself, if you take a day off, if you unplug from work, it's a difference between, there's a fine line between having self-care, taking care of yourself, taking those mental breaks, and being lazy. And as adults, we know which one that is. For somebody like me who is hyper organized, hyper structured, I work very, very hard. If I need a mental break, I'm not being lazy. So you have to have those real talks with yourselves to really understand and unpack whether you are actually practicing self-care or if you're using it as a means to make an excuse to do something that you need to do. That makes sense? So movement is definitely a form of self-care. Exercise is not just about losing weight. It releases endorphins, it reduces stress, and it boosts your mental clarity. You don't know how many times I might have been going through something and just going outside for a walk just ease my mind and make me feel better. Or if I'm frustrated and I start to lift weights and I put on some good music. Miss Kathy can tell you she loves music too. You put on some good music, you start moving and grooving, and you feel good by the end of it. It doesn't necessarily make whatever problem was there go away, but the way that you cope with it, it helped. So I have some engagement I would like for now. Um, think about this. What is one form of self-care that you tend to skip and why?
Not getting enough sleep.
That's definitely a common one. And why?
Well, one of the common reasons is this device that I'm holding in my hand right here.
The phone, yes, that is
Yeah.
definitely. I actually just recorded a post about it. I'm not sure if I posted it yet or not, but I definitely recorded content about the phone and how it can be, I haven't posted it yet, how it can be a major distraction. Um, and limit you from things. If it's not serving you, like literally here lately, like when I get off work, I leave my phone upstairs because I don't want, like, I literally work on my phone. I'm on a computer. I don't want to be on my phone. And in the morning time, when I get up in the morning, I leave my phone. I play my little meditation music and I leave my phone in the bedroom while I do what I need to do. Because if the minute I get on my phone, I'm immediately gonna get distracted because I'm gonna see messages from clients. I'm gonna see messages on Facebook about questions about fitness or just all the things. And then the way I'm set up, I feel like obligated to respond to clients right away. So I don't want to do that 5 o'clock in the morning when I get up. I want to actually get up, get my mind together, put some meditation music in there, clear my head, and go work out. And then when I get home and I start my day and I shower, and then I can handle that stuff. And a lot of times you have to set boundaries with yourself. That's something that I had to do as well. Because there was a point in time where I would get off work and I would still be in my phone, and then a client would text me, and I'm like, oh, I done seen it, now I gotta respond, right? I don't do that. If a client messages me after I get off work, after 6 or 7 o'clock, I'll respond to you in the morning. It's not to say you can't message me, but that's my boundary with myself and with the client that, yes, I'm a coach, and yes, I'm a hardworking coach, but I also am a wife, a mother, and all the things. And I need to be able to separate that from my work. And one good thing to do to unwind from work is when you get off from work, especially people like me who work from home, take a 10-minute breather. Sometimes I'll go for a walk, I'll put my phone down and I just need to walk. And I'll just walk for 10, 15 minutes. Or sometimes I'll just put my phone down and I'll just be like, "Hey babe, how's your day?" Talk to him and just get the work day off of me. Because that way you're not transitioning your work day into your home life and mixing the two together, because it can make for a bad situation. No matter if you're single, if you live alone, if you live with someone, if you have a significant other, if you have kids, it does not matter. You need to be able to separate that stuff. And even if you're retired and you don't have to report to anybody, it's still good to be able to set those boundaries, not sit on and scroll mindlessly on social media. That can wreck your brain too, because there's so much negativity out there. I honestly don't consume social media. I post and ghost. Like when I'm on social media, yes. When I'm on social media, I'm responding to people who have DM'd me because they're interested in learning about fitness or what I do. And I'm posting content. I might be posting a story. And once I'm done with that, I'm off of social media. I don't sit there and scroll and look at other people's stuff. Most of the time when I see stuff is, when you first open the phone and you see a video, and I might engage with that video, but I'm not gonna scroll after that. I'm gonna be like, oh, that caught my attention. Okay, let me go post what I came here to post and get off. So that's a good point that Mr. Greg has brought up. Is there any other self forms of self-care that any of you tend to skip and want to share? Everybody crickets tonight.
Um,
Eating.
Oh.
I would say taking that time for yourself, for myself, really.
Mm,
Um, and it's another thing I talked to you about before. I've always felt like once everybody around me is good, I'm good. But in
mm,
reality, that's not really the case.
right.
So it's just coming to terms with myself, saying like sometimes you do need that time, even if it's like nonverbal time where you just lay there to yourself in silence, just something to take your mind off of everything and take that time to yourself. So I would say that is my thing.
Absolutely. And that's very true, Jelani. But I'm curious to know why. Well, you said that's something that you have overcome recently.
Yeah, recently.
Yeah, because a lot of times we can allow other people's situations and issues become our problem when it doesn't need to be. We can't save the world, no matter how much we want to save the world, because at the end of the day, a lot of times when we want to help people and save people, I experience this a lot in what I do. I see people will come to me and tell me that they are having the hardest time. They're struggling with consistency. They really need help. They're sick of being where they are. And then they sign up for the program. They halfway work the program. They don't see the results that they're looking for in the time that their weird mind thought that it was going to happen. And then they want to quit. And I'm like, what have you ever done in life for 3 months and got full-time results? You don't even date nobody for 3 months and marry them after that. So how do you expect to enter into a program with all of these laundry list of issues, and you have a coach that's literally giving you accountability, telling you things, calling out your gaps and things like that, and then you're sitting there like, okay, yeah, you told me everything. I can handle it on my own. If you can handle it on your own, why did you even come ask me for my help? And you didn't reach your goal. Well, I thought I was going to have a quick fix. I thought it was going to be a quick fix. Nothing that lasts is quick. So when you have somebody that you're trying to help and you see the good in them, and so you want to like help them, like, oh man, I know you can do this if only you just put one foot in front of the other. You can't make them. They have to put that one foot in front of the other. And you writing them about it or feeling like you need to be position yourself to help them with that thing is not going to make them do better. At that point, you're enabling them to continue to stay stuck where they are because they know that they have you to lean on and that you're going to keep pushing and things like that. They have to push for themselves. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Anybody else have? That was a good point, Jelani. Thanks for sharing. But you understand what I'm saying about feeling like you gotta, like, if everybody else is good, I'm good,
Hmm.
huh?
Yeah, I understand for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't always make sure everybody else good. They have to know how to make sure they're good because you got to make sure you good. And if I'm around here making sure everybody else good, how I'm making sure I'm good? I'm burning myself out trying to make sure everybody else good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
um, does anybody else have anything they want to share on the self-care piece?
Mine goes with along with Jelani. I was going to say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember before I started working so much, I would have Friday and Saturday off, and I would use that time to myself. But now that I work so much, I feel like I don't give myself enough time because I'm constantly doing things for doing things for others
Mm-hmm.
and not for myself.
Yeah. So, let's unpack that for a little bit real quick. So before you said you didn't work so much, but you had the
Hmm.
weekends off, but now you work so much. Is
Hmm.
that working so much voluntary or is it something that's mandatory?
It's voluntary.
That's point number one.
Hmm.
Point number two, outside of you working so much and still squeezing in other things for other people,
Hmm.
is that really serving you?
No, it's a hindrance.
So why do you think you do that?
Well, one, I volunteer to work so much because it's only me. That's
Like,
that's
you
that's
mean like
that's
financially?
financially. So
Okay.
I work so much because it's only me. But recently I have put a stop to that. Only
Okay.
when I can because it becomes draining. You know,
Yes.
you don't have time to rest. You don't have
Hmm.
time to sleep. You don't have time to fulfill your goals that you need to, complete on your own plate, for to say.
Hmm. Very true. Very
Yeah.
true. Look, I mean, if it's financial, that's one thing, but
Hmm.
I'm all about like it's so easy to get burnt out chasing after a dollar, but that dollar is gonna always be there. Your
That's
life
right.
won't.
That's right. And that's what I tell them. I said, just because I did it before, don't mean I'm always going to do it.
Right.
I
They
need
like,
time for myself.
she did it before and she can do it again and she can do it again. She did it before.
Like I tell them, I said, I don't know how old everybody is. I said, but that commercial, give it to Mikey, he'll eat it.
Right.
Ask LaShawn, she'll do it. I always say that. They go, huh? I said, never mind, you wouldn't even understand.
Right.
I said, you wouldn't even understand.
And even
So,
in situations where you are working and you have to work extra hours to make ends meet, you still have to have that cutoff button of like, okay, I need a breather this
mhm,
weekend. I'm not going to be able to do extra so that you
mhm,
can
mhm.
regroup.
Right.
Because just being tired all the time is just, it's not beneficial and it's going to cause a lot of stress. You're going to get burnt
Mhm,
out and all of that stuff over time
mhm.
is gonna hurt your health.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's gonna hurt your health.
Oh, I've learned. I'm not the
Yeah,
same person. I've learned.
good, good. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I've definitely, speaking from experience, I used to be that yes person. Like, if a family member asked me for money or to buy something and I really didn't have it, I wouldn't tell them I didn't have it. I would figure out a way to do it. I would take people places that I really didn't have time to take them, but I would figure it out. And then you burn yourself out, and then the minute you ask them for a favor, they're like, nah, well, nah. And it's like, so
I
y'all
did it for
using
you.
me?
Hmm.
Right. And
Hmm.
so now, I've said this on, I'm sure if for those of you who have been on my coaching calls, I told y'all have heard me several times say it, that my word of the year has been capacity. And if I don't have the capacity to do it, I won't do it. I actually had a coaching call to go to this evening, a sales call, and I just didn't have the capacity. I knew I had this call, and I would have been literally leaving from that call, coming to this one. I was like, I don't have the capacity. I'm not going. Like, I've been going to the calls every single week for the past 3 months, and I've never missed a call. I was like, my brain is fried right now. I'm not going to the call. So I went downstairs, got me a bite to eat, sat down and talked to my husband for a few minutes, and then came up here and prepped for this call and waited for you guys to come on. And sometimes you just have to do that. Because guess what? They record the calls just like I do. And I know I'm going to go back and watch it on replay. Not everybody does it, but they're losing out. I'm going to watch it because I know I need to learn. And being that I know the calls are recorded, I can go back and watch them. And even if it wasn't recorded, I would just be like, well, I'll just miss out this time because my brain is tired.
Mhm.
I'm tired. And it's okay to take a step back and just be like, I don't have the capacity today. If somebody invites me somewhere and my Saturday is open, it's free, and I don't have the capacity and I just want to lay down, I'm not going. I had an opportunity, there was an event that I had um last month, the end of last month, where I sang the national anthem, but I also had an opportunity to sell my products. And I had done so much running around that day and the day before, and I would have had to drive all the way to Claremont to take my products out there, and then drive all the way back and be up super early in the morning to get back out to Claremont to sell the products, to then come back home and change and sing. And I was just, my brain capacity was just like, and I started driving there, and my husband was like, you, do you know you don't have to go? And I was like, you know what? You're right. I'm not gonna go. And I was a little frustrated because I had bought, the bottles and stuff to make the fresh pressed juices and stuff, and I didn't make the juices. I didn't even go to the store to buy the fruit because that's just how tired I was, the fruit and vegetables. And I was just like, I just won't make money this weekend because and sometimes it's that way because like you said, like I said earlier, the dollar is gonna be there. Your life
Mhm.
will not always be there. And so you have to be mindful of how you feel and understand that your mental state can take a hit if you keep going when you need rest. And
Mhm.
when I tell you, I felt so good to just be like, oh, I can just rest. I don't have to be there till 4 tomorrow. I can sleep in. I don't have to get up at 5 in the morning to drive all the way to Claire. Sometimes it be like that. So anytime that you are in a pickle and you feel like, man, I really want to do this, but the capacity that I have right now is just limited, use that and say, okay, I'm gonna take a back seat. And it's all right.
Mhm.
That's good.
It works.
Yes, it does.
It
And I think
works.
that was a perfect segue into talking about rest and sleep because a lot of people feel like you have to earn the right to sleep. Doesn't, it's like you don't, sleep is not something that is earned. Like you need sleep because sleep is when your body repairs muscles, detoxifies, balances hormones, and lack of sleep leads to irritability. How many of y'all have dealt with people who are sleepy and cranky? I'd be like, you need to go to sleep. I dealt with somebody like that one time and they were snapping at me. And I was like, you working 2, 3 jobs. You haven't had no sleep. I'm gonna need you to get out of my face and go get you some rest. Because what we're not doing is acting like this because you tired. Go to sleep. It is nothing like a cranky adult. Think about babies when they're fighting sleep, how cranky they are. So imagine that in an adult form. No, sir, no, ma'am, no ham, and no turkey. I'm not dealing with that. Absolutely not. So it definitely causes irritability. It spikes your anxiety. It leads to poor decision making. And a lot of people think that they can just load up on caffeine and that's gonna make things better, but that's not healthy either. Coffee may be the better alternative than energy drinks because it's more natural. I love coffee, but I'm not gonna deprive myself of sleep and drink coffee in several cups of it a day. Like that's just not good. And it also will cause you difficulty with managing your stress. So you want to aim, like I always say, for 7 to 9 hours of restful sleep. And it's important to track your sleep and notice how your energy, your mood, and even your cravings change based on your sleep pattern and your restfulness. Because I've been tracking mine for months and I know I can feel it's very accurate. When my sleep is off, I can sometimes, you know, I don't know if any of you here are entrepreneurs full time, but I am. And my mind is always thinking about the next thing to do, the next thing to do. And sometimes it makes it hard for you to, your brain to relax. And you can think that you're sleeping, but you're not really resting. And that's why I will drink calming teas. I take a sleep supplement. I put it in the group, the products tab with the supplement, the sleep aid, and I only take one. The recommended serving size is two, but I'm a pretty petite person, so I don't need to take two. But I take one, and it helps me fall asleep a lot better. And when I don't take it, I can tell because my sleep score is like you might have been in bed for 8 hours, but you only got like 3 hours of sleep. So you have to find healthy ways to unwind, whether it's drinking calming teas, reading a book. Miss Kathy, I've given her plenty of tools to use, that has worked for her. So like just use those things. Reading, I love listening to if I listen to a story before I go to, oh, I'm falling asleep. I will hear the first maybe 5 minutes, and next thing I know, I'm like, I was asleep that fast. So, you find what works for you, but make sure you track your sleep and pay attention to those things. Now, with mindfulness and meditation, even a few minutes a day of mindfulness can lower your stress, improve your focus, help you respond to situations instead of reacting, and increase awareness of physical cues like tension, fatigue, or hunger. 9 times out of 10, if we are not exercising mindfulness or meditation or getting the proper rest, we can be snappy and not even realize it. We can have a conversation with somebody and it can go the wrong way fast because we didn't take a moment to hear what they were saying, process it, because our brain is not functioning properly. So you're not processing at a good speed.
Mhm.
So you want to be mindful of those things um, in any situation. So has anyone tried guided meditation or deep breathing?
Yes.
Yes. How did it make you feel?
It makes me feel better. It calms me down.
Yeah, I do it every morning. You can ask my husband. I turn on my meditation app every morning. And it's just something because I don't know if it's because of my military lifestyle and always having to jump and run, jump and run, jump and run, you know, doing that for so many years. Oh, you got to be for formation at this time. You got to jump up. You got to have uniform on at this amount of time. You know what I'm saying? Like moving like that. And so even when I got out of the military, I was still that way, like jump and run, jump and run, jump and run. You right? And so when I got close to my 40s, I was just like, I want to learn how to slow down. Like, I don't want to wake up in the morning and jump and run, jump and run, jump and run, I gotta make my bed up. Oh, I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I want to be able to like the days that I can just move at a slow pace, and I might not even be moving slow to most people because I naturally move fast, but just to move at a slow pace, it feels great. Some days I'm just like, I just want to move in slow motion. I want to brush my teeth slow. I want to make up my bed slow. And so that helps me calm my brain down because I'm already jumping up to an alarm that's, and I'm jumping out of bed. And I turn that on and it just kind of relaxes my mind. Like, yes, you are getting ready to go to the gym. And after you get done with the gym, you're going to start working with clients. But we're going to relax your mind and get yourself calmed down for that so you're not like this all day. So it definitely helps me. Has anyone else done any guided meditation or deep breathing exercises? No?
I
Well,
have before, but I haven't did it. I have in the past, but I have not um done any of that recently. But I have in the past.
so what made you
And
stop?
I I think I just know when I get anxiety or anxious, ang anxious.
Yes.
So I just kind of slow down myself and then just breathe normally and then pick back up and do what I need to do.
So you only do it when you feel like you're
A
anxious?
lot of, yeah, when I get a lot of anxiety or anxious.
Did you
So,
know, did you know how important it is to do deep breathing and guided meditation daily to help prevent those moments? Because if you only do it when you have a anxiety attack or you feel it coming on, it might take longer for it to come down versus if you do it every day and you practice that ritual, you might not get as many of them.
mm,
Have you thought about that?
no, now I
So,
have.
something to think about. Because think about insurance. What if we only tried to get insurance when we got into an accident?
Hmm.
They're not gonna let you do that. As
Right.
much as we hate paying for insurance that we're not actually using, it's better to have it. That way, in the event something happens, we know exactly what to do versus, and we have that cushion versus only getting it when we feel like we need it.
Hmm.
Because you might be having more panic attacks or anxiety attacks than you realize, but because you're only doing the exercises or trying to slow things down, you might be thinking you're slowing down, but you're not doing the practice. So it's kind of hard to really know if it's actually
It is working.
working,
Right.
right? So I highly recommend that all of you, I think Miss Kathy has already done it because she's doing the guided meditation, but I highly recommend that all of you download the Encountering Peace app. I believe everyone in here is a spiritual person. Yes, yes, no,
Yeah.
maybe. Yes, okay. I just want to make
Yeah.
sure because it's a it's a spiritually led guided meditation. So it's gonna give you scriptures, it's gonna give you uplifting things, and it has the meditation music in there. It'll tell you Bible stories to help you through whatever you may be going through. So um my recommendation is to download the app. It is free and they post new meditations each and every day. Now it's up to you. I'm just giving you the tool. Um, Anybody else done guided meditation or deep breathing? Yes, okay, great. So, how has it worked for you, Coach Aaron? I know I shared how it worked for me.
Yeah, I really like to use either guided meditation. I have an app that I use that I actually use with my daughter as well. And the fact that you were saying, Chiquita, how if you listen to a book before you go to bed, like you're absolutely falling asleep. If I put that on for her, she's out like a light in 5 minutes.
Right.
It's just very peaceful, very calming. So even though it's like a marketed for children, I use it and I love it. And I also use box breathing. And I use that in moments where, and I popped that in the chat too. I also put a link to that Encountering Peace website in the chat as well. But
Thank you.
yeah, I use box breathing in moments where I feel like I'm really stressed or if I'm
Yes.
nervous about something or like that anxiety is creeping up, which happens, as we're stressed, if
Mm,
we're not well rested, if we're not well fed, if we haven't gotten into our routine and been consistent, that can trigger anxiety for sure. So I use box breathing quite often. And I know you can't see it, but on my computer, I have like a calm strip. Have you ever seen
mm,
calm strips?
mm-mm.
So it's a calm strip and they're textured. So it's a tactile meditation, but
Mm-hmm.
it's for box breathing. So it will guide you in like inhale, hold,
Mm-hmm.
exhale, hold, inhale, hold. And it's just in a square and you just kind of
Right.
that, but the tactile sensation also helps
Yeah.
reduce
That's awesome. I'm glad you brought that up too, because as a
that.
performer who has performance anxiety, who would have thunk it, right? I have really bad performance anxiety, but I've been doing my box breathing a lot and it has truly been helping me. Like, and my Apple Watch has the mindfulness app where you can breathe. So I will literally sit there and it'll tap my wrist like this and it'll say deep breathe in, exhale. So I do it every time, anytime I know I'm next or whatever, I will sit in a chair and I'll close my eyes, I'll say a prayer, and then I'll start my box breathing. And then I'll use my inhaler and my saline mist to get my voice ready. And I'm like, all right, I did what I need to do. Let's go out here and just make it happen, you know. But I do that every time, and every single time it helps because I know I have performance anxiety. You would have thought at this age I wouldn't, but coming from someone who used to be extremely shy and would like tremble and fold if I had to get up and do and say anything in front of somebody, it to where I am now, like that's like I've learned the tools to be able to do it because I was like, okay, God gave me this talent. I don't want to continue to sit on it. So box breathing is very, very beneficial. And I'll do it with my meditations. Like I'll just listen to it, and if I feel myself like I need to calm down a little bit more, I'll do that. I even have a playlist full of, I call it my chill like me, because I'm a pretty chill person, wouldn't you say? So I call it my chill like me station, and I just have a lot of like neo soul, like R&B, like chill music, that just some of it is just what's the other thing? Shucks, I can't think of it. It's another genre where it's just like music and so-fi, lo-fi. Is it lo-fi? I think it's lo-fi. Such great music that I listen to. And sometimes I'll just put it on the meditation and just play that if I feel like I need my brain to calm down. So people, my son asks me all the time, like, Mom, how do you work to that kind of music? I'm like, you don't understand. This is really keeping me focused and calm right now. With the amount of especially when I have a lot of tasks, that music really just calms me down and keeps me focused on what I need to do. So thank you guys for those who have shared. I have one last example and then we're going to get into the video prompt. But I just want to let y'all know about boundaries. For some people, boundaries is a scary word. I don't understand why, but they feel like saying no or not holding someone accountable for something is bad. But I'm like, setting boundaries is protecting yourself from being taken advantage of, and it's not for people to like. Boundaries are not made for other people to like them. You have something, Kathy?
Yeah, as an older woman, I come from that era where women mostly are taught to always be responsible, always put ourselves last, family first. You know, if your family needs you, you got to go and do. And
Mm-hmm.
it took me a long time because a job I used to work, my days off were Thursday and Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
So all my family was good for, oh, well, you off on these days. So I need to get this done. I need to get that done. You can do this for me. You can go to courthouse for me. You can wait on somebody to come by and fix something for me. And I finally got to the point where I let them know I wasn't going to do that anymore because my Thursday and Friday is like your Saturday and Sunday. And you cannot interfere and take that away from me anymore because then I've worked the entire week. And when I get back to work, I'm tired. So from now on, it's your life, it's your business, you handle it.
I know that's, go ahead, Miss Kathy. I know that's
Love it.
right. That that does definitely deserves a big old hand clap, especially coming from that era. where it's expected of you to do these things. And I know that you're older than I am, but the way I was raised, I'm supposed to wait on my man hand and foot. I'm supposed to fix his plate for him. I'm supposed to cook for him every day. I'm like, listen, what about me? Who cooking for me?
Well, hold on
Don't do
now.
that.
Let's not go too fast, Sydney.
He already know what the deal is.
Slow down, slow down.
So I'm like, who doing that for me? You know what I'm saying? Like I deserve a break, and I'm not gonna be walking around like a barefoot maid all day. Y'all not paying me for that, you know? And a lot of people are taken aback when you say things like that, like how would you feel if I came over on Saturday and Sunday and wrecked your whole plans and told you all the stuff I needed you to do for me? Nah, this my rest day. Well, give me that same energy. I'm proud of you for that, Miss Kathy.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of you for that. Anybody else experience anything like that where they're like expected to do things because of their position? Like me as the oldest, I'm supposed to do this.
Me, I know sometimes when I'm off, sometimes when I'm off, I'll tell my dad, yeah, I'm off. Oh, well, you could come over here. No.
Right.
No, no,
That's
no.
why you don't tell them when you off.
No, yes, yes, no. I understand. Sometimes I feel guilty because they're getting older. He's in his 70s. So I
Mm,
feel guilty because, he has a lot going on. So yeah, if I feel that I can, I will. But
mm-hmm.
no, not all the time. I
Right.
need the time to myself to relax. I just
Right.
work
And I
like Miss
don't
Kathy.
Right. And I don't think you should feel guilty either because, yeah, they're getting older and yeah, they're your parents and you want to be there for them, but you don't want it to be where like you can't do anything for yourself either because I mean
Right.
it's dependent on whatever it is. Like if they are sick and they have to go to appointments, that's one thing. But if they're just, I don't know.
Yeah. Yes, that's why I just say, look, when I'm off, I don't tell no one. I just let them think I'm busy or working, and I'll
Hmm.
reach out when I'm ready
I
to
fall
reach
off the
out.
face of the earth, honestly. Like when I take my vacations, the only people know is y'all.
Oh, don't nobody know I'm on vacation until I
Don't
come back.
nobody know. They
Well,
just
my
be
mom and
you
dad.
should have you should have saw on my birthday when my husband took me a couple years ago for my 40th birthday on a cruise. Only people knew I was going on a cruise was y'all. I ain't tell nobody because I didn't
Well,
want to talk. And then it was so funny because when I came back, I had a slew of messages. Oh my gosh, everything okay? I'm trying to call you for your birthday and I'm not reaching you. What's going? You fell off the.
yeah,
So I just made a post. I promise I'm okay. I'm out of the country right now. Celebrate my birthday. I'll see y'all when I get back.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So sometimes you need that. And unfortunately for me, and I don't really know if it's a misfortune or not, but I just say unfortunately for me just because of how hard I work as an entrepreneur, like when I do get those times to unwind and get away, like I really don't want to deal with nobody. Like my husband. And that's it. I don't want to deal with nobody. I don't deal with no responsibilities. I want to lay down as much as I want. I want to be waited on. Oh, you gonna bring my food? Thanks. I don't want to do anything because I do so much. And so that's why when I do like need that time to really just get away or just go into a crab shell and hide, I do that. And I feel so refreshed when I come back. So it's okay to do that. And just think of boundaries as a fence around your energy. Who believes in energy and protecting it?
Hmm?
Just me? Protecting your energy?
Oh,
Oh, okay, good. So, what boundaries do is they tell people what you will and will not accept. Remember at the beginning of this call, I said that boundaries pretty much tell people how to treat you, and people will do exactly what you allow them to do. So boundaries are a fence around your energy, and they tell people what you will and will not accept, whether they like it or not. They don't have to like it. You might not like it, but once I know my intentions are pure and I said it in the most loving way possible, the way you took it is not my problem, my friend. So an example is, imagine yourself or your energy like your phone battery, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every time you say yes, it drains your battery. Boundaries are like plugging in your charger. You recharge so you can function at your best. How many of y'all feel like, oh my gosh, I need to get a charger because my phone about to die? Like, I need to get a charger. I need to get a charger. Like, you need to be that way about yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because without boundaries, you risk burnout, resentment, and stress. And setting boundaries can improve relationships, increase productivity, and boost self-respect. So think of one boundary that you need to set in your life this week and ponder on that.
Mhm.
So the video that we're going to be watching today is is by like my new favorite therapist. Her name is Dr. Tracey.
One client moves their
I get so annoyed with these freaking ads.
You shouldn't need a fire.
You'll start the video, skip the ad, and then do something else, and when you go back to it, it'll put another ad on there. So annoying. But anyway, this is my new favorite therapist, Dr. Tracey Marks. Very, very knowledgeable woman, and she is going to give you the 5 signs that you need stronger boundaries. So, but let's talk about some signs before we get into the video. Feeling exhausted all the time, even after sleep, feeling stressed, anxious, or irritable around certain people or situations, saying yes when you really want to say no. That is the worst thing. I could not imagine saying yes to something I really want to say no to. I'm just going to say no. Feeling guilty for taking time for yourself and constantly putting others' needs before your own. Does any of these sound familiar to anybody?
Yeah.
So these are signs that your body and mind is telling you, hey, I need to set some limits. So let's watch this short video from Dr. Tracey Marks. And she's going to break this down in a very clear and practical way. And I think you'll love how easy it is to follow. So let's go ahead and I'm going to share my screen. If you can put me back to the host so I can do that. All set? All right. Give me just a moment. Let me know if you guys do the video.
Imagine this. You consistently say yes to requests even when they drain your energy.
Yes, yes, yes.
You bite your tongue when someone insults you because you don't want to deal with the conflict. Over time, you become a simmering pot of resentment that shows up in snarkiness and low self-worth. These are just some of the outcomes of having weak boundaries. I'm Dr. Tracey Marks, a psychiatrist, and I make mental health education videos. Today, I'm going to give you 5 signs that you need stronger boundaries. Number 1 is overcommitting or people-pleasing. An example of this is consistently agreeing to take on tasks when you feel overloaded. You may fear disappointing the person or fear that saying no will feel mean or withholding. We all have a narrative identity. This is the story about yourself that you have in your head that brings together your past, present, and future and gives you purpose. I will talk more in detail about narrative identity and how to uncover yours in another video that will be linked to this one. Let's say part of your narrative identity is that you're not a selfish person and that selfishness is saying no to something that you're capable of doing. There are no unreasonable requests, and if you have the ability or skill to do something, there's no legitimate reason to say no. Saying no is denying others. You could believe this because this attitude was modeled for you by an authority figure or someone that you looked up to. And this didn't have to be during childhood. You could have been in an adult relationship with a person with a strong personality who convinced you that saying no is selfish. Or you could be very sensitive to other people's feelings and have a low threshold of tolerance for seeing people disappointed. Whatever the source, if this is your mindset, you will be prone to overcommitting to things and doing things that you really don't want to do, but feel obligated to do to spare someone else disappointment. What can you do about this? Keep in mind that strengthening boundaries is an iterative process. You make small changes and continue to revise. The power behind saying no will come from identifying your needs, wants, and values first so that you can remind yourself of why you're saying no. Your need or value is the justification for saying no. Then start by saying no to low stakes situations. These are things that have the least personal impact. The small no's will help you build the confidence to say no to the bigger things, like things that only you can do, and lots of people would benefit if you would just give your time to this. To make saying no easier, prepare a script or rehearse a response for common situations, and remind yourself that saying no is an act of self-care and not a rejection of others. Number 2 is feeling responsible for others' emotions. An example of this is constantly worrying about making others upset or angry and changing your own behavior to keep people happy, even at the expense of your own well-being. An intervention for this is to develop self-awareness by recognizing when you're absorbing other people's emotions. When there are strong emotions in the air, practice distinguishing between what you actually feel and what the other person is expressing. You'll need to remind yourself that you're not responsible for how others feel. Number 3, being unable to express your personal needs or opinions. So in a relationship, you don't express your desires or opinions. You go along with what the other person wants, neglecting your own needs. And this is pretty common if you're conflict avoidant. You'd rather go along with what the other person says than challenge them or ruin the mood with your contrary opinion. Here's one thing you can do. Start by identifying your own needs and opinions in private through journaling or self-reflection or through the narrative identity exercise that I'll talk about next week. Think of opinions that you've held back on expressing for fear of starting an argument or being judged. Practice spontaneously voicing these opinions around people who are supportive and open-minded, so they won't mind you saying these things and give you the space to do so. This practice will help you build up to expressing them in situations where you can't predict the reactions. Number 4 is feeling guilty when prioritizing yourself. And this is related to being unable to say no, but this is specifically around the issue of putting yourself first when you do say no or think about saying no. An example is feeling a ton of guilt when you set aside time for self-care or personal interests. You don't feel good about doing that because you believe it's a waste of productive time or selfish not to be available to others. Here's an example. Let's say you're an accountant by trade, and during tax season, when you're working long hours, your friend asks you to give them a call later this evening so they can run some ideas by you regarding their taxes before they meet with their accountant. Or worse, your good friend asks if you don't mind giving their sister some advice, and you're not friends with their sister. Now, at the end of the workday, you're exhausted and you need downtime. The last thing you want to do is come home and spend an hour on the phone talking business with someone as a favor to a friend. You say no so that you can come home and watch television, but you can't enjoy it very much because you feel guilty that you're choosing television over your friend's request. What you can do here is challenge the validity of your guilt-inducing thoughts and replace them with affirmations that emphasize the importance of self-care. Recognize that taking care of yourself enables you to be more present and supportive of others. Number 5 is sharing personal information too quickly or with the wrong people. In this scenario, you overshare personal history or secrets in inappropriate settings or before you've established trust. A solution here is to develop a checklist of what information you are comfortable sharing with whom and under what circumstances. To help you get started, here are some topics to think twice about before disclosing: medical conditions and treatment, mental health conditions and struggles, issues with parents, siblings, or extended family, past trauma experiences, past problems in romantic relationships, controversial political or religious views, and finances like your salary, debt, and spending habits. This is not an exhaustive list, and they are not topics that are completely off limits. They are topics that require you to read the room first because they may make people feel uncomfortable, judged, vulnerable, or overwhelmed, just to name a few emotions that these topics could evoke. To use a business analogy, it's like doing a hard sell to a cold lead. You need a certain amount of permission to share some things with people, and likewise, the other person should earn your trust before you share intimate details of your mental life. If you have loose boundaries, you likely struggle to know what's too intimate too soon. And that's where pausing and thinking about these things can help you gain better control over what you share. For more on understanding your mental life and your narrative identity, watch this video. If you don't see it yet, it's coming soon. Thanks for watching today. See you next time.
That was wonderful, was it not? So, now that we've watched the video, let's reflect. What stood out to you the most? Did any of the signs she mentioned resonate with you? Can you think of one area in your life where setting a stronger boundary could help you feel calmer or more in control? Feel free to unmute yourselves. You can talk about the video. You can talk about things that I've discussed. But what stood out the most?
What stood out the most to me was when she said affirmations of self-care when you feel guilty of like taking care of yourself and putting yourself first. I would say I definitely just need to start doing that more because I feel like me personally, if somebody like reaches out to me and it's like you know you can do it, but it's like deep down you know you need that time to yourself, but it's like you just like no, I'll pass on it maybe like another time if I'm more like capable like mentally like to do it. But I end up feeling guilty because I'm like I end up thinking about it, I'm pondering on it, I'm like I really could help this person, but I just
Mhm.
decided to just not do anything, just take time for myself. So I would say that stood out to me the most.
Do you think it's because you like to please people?
I would say what it is like what she said in the beginning of the video. It's like personality wise, I'm not a selfish person. And me being me is like I said before, it's like if I know I can help somebody, like I just be like, okay, yeah, even though like deep like it just goes back to what I said in the beginning, like I feel like once everybody's okay around me, I'm cool, so like that just plays right into basically what I said earlier.
So do you think that um this is an area where you would need to work on setting a stronger boundary so that you could feel more in control and not so much letting the other people control you and how you feel about yourself? Because honestly, being a nice person, because I'm a nice person, and I used to be that yes person, but being a nice person doesn't mean you have to say yes to everything. And being a nice person doesn't mean that you're mean if you say no, or that you're selfish if you say no. And a lot of times, like she was saying, you make these characters of yourself, of who you perceive yourself to be. And essentially, what you think of yourself, you want others to see in you, or you think others see that in you, and you want to make sure that they continue to see it. Or if it's on the negative end, you don't want them to know or see a particular thing about you. So it's important to not tie your personality with your boundary because they're not connected. And it's important also to figure out a way to get rid of that self-talk that's telling you or making you feel guilty for doing something for yourself versus someone else. And it takes time. I'm here to tell you. But now I'm like very good at setting boundaries. And so many people don't like it, but I don't care because it's not for them to like. Your boundaries are not for people to like. Miss Kathy can tell you we have our veterans group, and a lot of people in our group will tell you how far I've come as far as like feeling bad and stuff like that. And now it's like, you might not like it. I know I'm a sweet person, and I know my heart is pure and I have good intentions. And you might not like what I said because I'm asking you not to do something anymore because it made me feel this way. You might not like it, but I don't care that you don't like it because this is my boundary and I'm asking you not to do that anymore. And because I can't control people, if the person decides to continue doing what I asked them not to do, I can't control that, but I can control my response to it. And my response would be to leave them alone. Don't have a relationship. I'm never going to be nasty to a person, but I don't have to have a relationship with them and I don't have to talk to them if they are hurting me. And you don't either. And you don't have to do for people to make them feel good. They should be doing things to make themselves feel good. And if they can only feel good because of what you're doing for them, they need help. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
And y'all know I speak it raw. I just say it, but that's what it is. If a person can only get love when you give it to them, or feel love when you give it to them, or feel worthy because you say something to make them feel worthy, they need help. Because your worth should not be dependent on someone else making you feel worthy. And if they need help, that's fine, but they need to be able to recognize that they need help. Because people will literally make us punching bags if we allow them to. And take and take and take. And like it says, it's protecting our energy. And Jelani, you have the most beautiful energy. You're such a sweet guy. And unfortunately, sweet people are the main targets of being taken advantage of. I know that firsthand. And that's why I'm very careful with the circle of people that I am around, because I do have a strong sense of discernment when it comes to people's energy. If your energy is off when I come to you, I'm not going to want to get close to you because I know there's something about you that doesn't mix well with me, and it's only a matter of time before it shows. And people will take and take and take because they know you're a giver. They know you're a good person. And you have to protect your energy. You have to protect your person. If you are a sweet person, and you have to do whatever you got to do to protect it. And it's not being mean. I don't scream at people to make my point. I just say what I need to say. And if you don't like it, I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you didn't like it, but I meant what I said. Because at the end of the day, again, you are not responsible for how someone else takes what you say, because you got to understand everyone has a different lens that they're looking out of. They have trauma, they have life experiences, so their lens is going to be different than anybody else's lens. So something you say to me might not offend me, but it might offend someone else who's looking out of a different lens, who might have heard something similar to what you said and it meant a different thing. So you just want to make sure that you're not letting people take advantage of you. Um, does anyone else have something that stood out the most? Thank you for sharing, Jelani. I know all of y'all learned something. All right, I'm gonna just call the people on my screen. That's what I like to do. Oh, go
No,
ahead, LaShawn.
no, mine was pretty much the same like Jelani. As soon as he said that, I was like, that's what I was gonna say. The
Mm,
affirmations, that's what stood out most to me the most. I mean, all of it was good, but what she
mm-hmm.
said about affirmations, I
So why
said
did that
you.
resonate the most with you?
I think with me, sometimes I have to look in the mirror and say affirmations to myself to say that I am my own person. I shouldn't let other people come into my space and judge the way I feel.
Right.
If I'm going to say no, I can't do this, then I'm just not going to be able to do it. Just like they said on the video, practice, rehearse it before you get, in front of that person and really mean it and say it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, I can't do it. I'm not
Right.
going to be able to do it. But don't back down and say you at home and saying, no, I can't do this in the mirror. But then when you get in front of them, okay, yeah, I'll do it. No, you
Right.
have to be stronger than that.
And your no doesn't even have to be harsh. And you don't even have to give an explanation. Like
Right.
if they ask you, if you say no, no, and they ask you why,
Because I
you
can.
can just say because I don't want to.
Right.
My favorite answer is because I don't have the capacity. And when I tell you, it works every time. When I say I don't have the capacity, people say, "Oh, I get it," and they leave me alone.
hmm
I've done
And
it
I
on many. That has been my word of 2025. I do
and
not
I've
have
said
the
it.
capacity.
I've said it, not the word capacity, but I've said, no, I can't do that. And they go, huh? But you always, I said, but yeah, I'm a new
Not
person.
this time.
I said, I'm a new person. I said, I'm tired of doing it and giving and going and giving and output to others. What am I getting?
Right.
Nothing.
And you don't even have to explain all of that. If they would have said, if it were me and they would have said, well, you normally do it, I would have been like, well, I'm not doing it this time.
That's to myself. I say that I'm tired of doing such and such and such.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay. Because I'll be
but
like,
yeah, no, I just go, no. And it is to shock me one day and I just said no. And they were like, I was like, sorry. And I just walked away. And I was like, oh, girl,
mm,
you said no. And you meant it.
right.
So yeah, you
And
you
it
have
gets
to.
easier the more you do it.
The more you say it, it'll get easier.
And then you'll also notice because I'm a firm believer of the law of attraction,
hmm
and you will start to see a different type of people you attract when you start setting boundaries.
Yes, I've cut off several people already.
Hmm.
hmm Yes.
Yep. Yep. All right. The next person on my screen is Miss Kathy. What stood out to you the most?
Well, what she made me think about was enabling other people. And sometimes that's a hard one for me, especially when it comes to my faith and thinking about helping the other person. I want to help someone, but I had someone that is always in need, that refuses to do anything to help themselves out of fear.
Hmm.
And I just have gotten to a point where I feel like, you've done and for a long time, for like over 20 years. And anytime they're in a bind or can't do something well, they want to call on all the people that they generally use to help them get them out of his bind. And I tend to be one of those people. And the other day, this person needed help and she asked me what I was doing. I said, well, I'm on my way to the laundry room because I'm doing my laundry.
Hmm.
And she was going to walk with me. She said, well, I need some help with this because I don't understand this and I don't know what to do. And I just told her, I can't do that with you now. Call that person. It was the electric company or something. And I
Hmm.
told her, call them and tell them the problem that you're having, and they will help you and walk you through it. But I'm not fixing to do this.
Right.
So.
That's good. That is good. I'm proud of all of you for exercise and setting boundaries because it's not easy for a lot of people. I used to be the same way when I was younger, feeling like I was mean if I said no, but I also didn't like the back end of it, how I felt, how people treated me. And I was like, something got to change. And being the problem solver I am, I would look for a reason to fix it and a way to fix it. And I figured it out and I was proud of myself for that. So your homework assignment, and I'm going to send an email with this, but um, before I give you your homework assignment, I want to remind you that here are some simple ways that you can start setting boundaries. First, learn to say no without guilt. That's a big one. That's something you gotta work on within yourself. Learn to say no without guilt. You do not need to explain yourself. A simple no, I can't do that right now is enough. And if they try to be funny and be like, well, can you do it this? No. The second one, schedule self-care. Treat your self-care time like a non-negotiable appointment. The third one, create mental checkpoints. Pause and ask yourself, is this helping me or is it draining me? Is it helping me or is it draining me? Remember, we mentioned this earlier. Number 4, limit technology overload. Put down your phone. Step away from emails. Give yourself a mental break. Your body will thank you for it. Number 5, communicate clearly. Use I statements. For example, I feel overwhelmed when you do X, so I need to adjust. I feel XYZ. I use I statements a lot. It bothers me when. I feel bad when. It hurts my feelings when. Right? So also prioritize sleep and rest. Give yourself permission to rest without feeling guilty. It's essential for your mental and physical health. And lastly, incorporate mindfulness practices, meditation, breathing exercises, or even a short walk outside can help you tune into your needs. So lastly, for the homework assignment is identify one area of your life where you need stronger boundaries and write that down. Practice saying no or not right now, at least once in that area. Take 5 to 10 minutes each day to check in with your body. How do you feel? Are you tense? Are you tired? Are you hungry? Do you feel anxious? And then try one mindfulness or meditation exercise daily, even if it's just for a few minutes. If you do this consistently, you will start to notice your energy increasing, your stress decreasing, and your overall mood improving. Okay? So that's all for today's session. I do appreciate you all for being here and engaging in this important topic. Just remember, listening to your body and setting boundaries is not just about saying no. It's about saying yes to your own mental health and well-being. So if you practice these strategies consistently, you will feel more in control of your life, more energized, and better equipped to handle stress. So I'm super proud of you guys for being here and for taking this step towards mastering your mental health. I'm glad that you all mentioned that everyone was a spiritual person because next month's webinar, I hope y'all mark y'all calendars, is going to be super duper spiritual. And it's going to be talking about the Bible's definition of honoring your body.
Mm.
That's what we're going to talk about next month. So if you have any spiritual family friends that struggle with food addiction, struggle with any type of like weight loss or taking care of their body properly, illnesses, and you want to invite them to this webinar, feel free to do so. We are literally going to unpack this topic. So I think it's needed. Um, Everyone who knows me, who signs up with me, knows I'm a spiritual person, and it's important to understand how this temple that you were blessed with is not yours, and you should be
Mm-hmm.
treating it like a gift that was given to you.
Right.
And I'm gonna leave you guys with that. How do y'all feel about tonight? Was it helpful?
Very helpful.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'll be sending, I normally send my thank yous and stuff tonight, but I need to unplug. So I will do all of that tomorrow. But you guys have a great night, and I will send emails and things when time permits. But we will chat soon, and have a good evening.
Hi.
Hey, everybody.
Bye. Thanks again, Erin.
Of course.